I'm getting buried in silver. I mean, literally buried in silver. The activity with silver and gold in and out of my store is more telling than what the hedge funds are posting as prices. It must be not just manipulation, it must be collusion.
We melt 100-ounce bars and make them into silver bits and then sell them as silver bits. And so,
would you like a few more?
If and when the manipulation goes away, where will the price, the true price of silver go?
Get your Yankee Silver Rounds featuring coin dealer Tim exclusively online at SD Bullion. Orders over $199 qualify for free shipping. Grab yours today while supplies last.
I want to get both of your opinions on what is really going on with silver.
sure. You want me to go first, or you want?
Oh, sure.
All right. So, for so many years, I was told by various experts. One of my mentors, who owns a chain of cash for gold locations, you know who he is,
Yeah.
and he's been very useful to me because he's been teaching me about gold, silver, diamonds, and things. And he would say that a war would drive that's our air compressor. That war would drive the precious metals prices up. However, for the past plus or minus 20 years, that hasn't happened. When people were buying gold and silver, often they were buying it as a safe haven asset to protect themselves from war-related risk. And if America lost the war, what happens to the stocks and the things? They might plummet. But if you had that physical gold or silver, well, then you might be safe in the sense that you may have something of value that stays valuable. That's changed. And the reason that I suggest it's changed is because the silver and gold market is so highly papered over that it's less than 1% of the silver market, for example, is physical silver. And so if people are buying a whole bunch of physical silver, it has virtually no effect on the market because it's less than even 1%.
What do you think of that?
Oh, that's very right. When he says papered over, I have a different interpretation maybe, but it started probably 2023, 2024. This pattern of up and down pattern was starting to take hold. But the paper market is supposed to be regulated. And it still says, if you go to Kiko or something, it says world spot prices. How can you call futures contracts spot prices? They're not spot prices. I mean, the activity with silver and gold in and out of my store is more telling than what the hedge funds are posting as prices. And if you look at the graphs, you go to all these red trades all going down, and then you have one thin line, green, of a trade going up. Now, how can they force it up? It must be not just manipulation, it must be collusion. That many companies or individuals, whatever, buying futures contracts to get it back up to that point. I would see nothing less than thousands of people filing complaints with the CFTC because we all want to know exactly what the market is. You have a vested interest in that. I certainly have a vested interest in seeing what the real prices are. In the meantime, I'm getting buried in silver. I mean, literally buried in silver.
Big problem.
It is a big problem, and it's not right. Now, how does that work? Overall, the refineries are getting buried in silver. They can only work 24 hours a day to produce, COMEX blocks or whatever they're making. And you made a comment, or you sent me
How data centers, highly scaled AI servers,
yeah.
require a huge amount of silver.
And I said, so why don't they just ask the COMEX?
You've made it very clear in the past few years that Kodak was a big user of silver. That all went away with photography change.
Kodak used to They used to buy 130 million ounces a year.
Could AI data centers more than fill that gap? Boards, a lot of what goes on in the chips, a lot of silver in these things.
Well, I've been talking with people who are doing a lot of recycling. And in fact, I've been given a lot of information of who to talk about recycling. They are, it's easier for them to get the gold than the silver. And the silver has to be reverse electroplated or whatever they're going to do. And it's, I don't know, you probably have the ability to do that, but 75% of the silver that we see is byproduct mining.
Right.
It comes from, copper mining, zinc mining, lead mining.
Gold mining.
Gold mining as well. There's not a shortage yet. And you just look at the volume that the refineries are getting in. How can there be a shortage? But that doesn't say anything about the future.
Yes. So my take on this is, first, as far as the generation of power, the stators, and the various components of the generators that produce the electricity, they do use some silver, not a huge amount, but microchips and circuitry boards use an immense amount of silver, and my calculations suggest that the data centers that are scheduled to be built will require more silver than there is available. And when I say available, I mean that silver that is in solar panels and is in people's forks or in their camera, the digital cameras use silver. That silver is not available right now, but the silver that is available, there's not enough to build those data centers. What I think one of the things that's happening right now is that there's a giant vacuum cleaner sucking the silver out of many Americans, and a lot of that silver is getting sold to us. We end up dumping it to a refinery if we need to. The refineries will take your pure silver. They're happy to take pure silver and whack you a few percent, because then they're selling it to someone else. And where is that silver going? I think that a lot of that silver is going overseas, and it's going to go to these data centers. And right now, I think that they've actually manipulated the price so volatile and extreme so that they shake all the weak hands and they scare all these people to sell their silver. And that once a lot of the silver is sucked out of America or out of the common people in America, then I think the price may go up and the availability goes down.
You've been around long enough to see when the spot price was really the spot price, right, Tim?
Oh yeah, followed it for probably, 50 years anyway.
I was pretty sure I heard you say in a video once that you used to put a sign outside and you'd put the spot price and you only would change it once a day.
It's still in my store. It's a whiteboard and it still says gold, silver, platinum, etc. I used to post the price when I got in the morning, and I'd change it if it needed to be changed at 1:30 in the afternoon. That was the price for the day.
Highly manipulated.
Yes. I've shown a chart where it shows that silver's volatility in price has never been higher since it's been tracked.
But it's here.
Yes.
The London silver market still posts the price, the London fix, and they don't change it.
Are you getting as hammered as Tim is with the amount of silver coming into your shop, people selling it?
It's been fluctuating, but to a large degree for the past few months, we were probably taking 95% people selling to us and 5% people buying from us. We've been selling wholesale to other groups. We melt 100-ounce bars and make them into silver bits and then sell them as silver bits. And so,
Would you like a few more?
yeah. And that's another thing, is that if you have a bunch of extra pure silver, that's really easy. I'm happy to trade you some pure silver for silver bits. Right now, people don't seem to want to buy the 10-ounce bars, but we're selling a good amount of silver bits more than anything else.
Interesting.
And that was just our old stamped single-sided silver bits. These, I'm sure, are going to sell better.
Yeah. We should talk. I
Yeah.
still have a lot more sterling too.
And we can do stuff with the sterling because we can get it refined, and then we can either pay you out in silver bits or pay you in dollars, and then we just keep the silver.
If and when the manipulation with paper silver contracts goes away, where will the price, the true price of silver go?
Take out the manipulation, it will be around 60 or less. I think it's going to go to the 50s. The regulatory authorities they're not finished yet. because I think they're going to be getting so many complaints that they may want to take a look at it. And January 29th, when it went to 120, I guess, one company I think that got fined a few $1 million for manipulation. I don't know.
We won't mention the name.
I actually.
But they made more money than they got fined. So they were it was a business decision.
Yeah, I was told once that a certain company, last time they got fined, it was like 41% of the profit they made.
That's what you call cost of doing business.
If you take out the manipulation, it'll be in the 50s. And, so much time has passed and so much inflation, I would say it belongs in the 40s. But if you add the missing inflation, it's probably around 50.
So in the long term, with inflation as it creeps up, won't silver continue to rise?
Everything will go up long term because of inflation. You have a lot more time to experience that than I have.
So your question, what should the silver price be without the manipulation based on today's inflation? Just important thing here, because when I say this number, and you're going to say that I'm crazy, but just put into your mind that right now they're selling 395 ounces of silver on paper for every 1 ounce of silver produced. Very powerful people have manipulated the price down because they're accumulating big amounts of it. If that wasn't in place, and that to buy silver, you had to actually buy silver that existed, it would have to spread to a lot more people. The price would have to go up a lot. $2,000.
Hey, do you remember what the Chinese are digging it out of the ground?
$17.
$17. Now, how's it going to go from 17 to 2,000 if it literally costs $17 an ounce to dig out of the ground? Not here. Here it's got to be $25 an ounce.
I hear a higher number than 17, but also because silver, a byproduct of gold and copper mining, that they can't increase it very easily, and because there's a need for it for all these digital things, I think that price has to go up. Look, you asked the question.
I did.
And so I knew the answer was gonna shock you.
It doesn't shock me that you say that. I'm probably somewhere in between the two of you. I think it will eventually go much higher, Tim, but I do believe it can come down a lot first.
If it's left alone, and we're not using the paper price, it will definitely go down. But as I said before, many times, inflation is going to bring it right back. Inflation has changed the whole monetary scheme around the world.
People bought entire buildings in downtown Berlin with 50 ounces of silver after the Weimar Republic financial crash, and there are historical accounts of people buying a house with an ounce or two of gold. So I just think that gold should be closer to $50,000 and silver around $2,000.
Probably not in my lifetime.
In your lifetime. In our lifetimes? What? Go ahead.
Well, this guy.
If it does, are you going to buy me a beer?
Yes.
Oh.
If nothing else, get a bunch of bits.
The point of having silver is that it never goes to zero, so you have a tangible thing that always is worth something, so it's a protection. Aside from getting rich off of owning something, which may or may not happen, but having the silver, you're not going to be left with nothing. You'll always have this thing. So to me, at a minimum, you at least want silver because it's better than pieces of paper, and then silver bits because they're smaller, they're easier to trade directly for goods and services. So this has been a lot of fun, Tim. And even if we might only just a little disagree on the what the price should be without the manipulation, that's a good thing. Maybe it's somewhere in between.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tim.
All right,
awesome. Thank you,
Thank
Yankee.
you.